Welcome to Harness Money. I am Colin. There is only one crypto investment that you need to make in order to be successful in the crypto space. There are plenty of different crypto tokens out there that you could invest in and that you could probably learn to trade and make money in. But if you want one investment that's going to grow and is going to compound your money over time, it is going to be Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the only crypto investment that you can really trust and that you can put your money into and set it and forget it and allow it to grow for the next 10 years, 20 years, or maybe even 100 years. There are many different reasons why Bitcoin is the only crypto investment that you need to make. And I'm going to go through all the different reasons right now why crypto is the one asset in the crypto space that you need to be buying. Number one, the very first reason that you should be buying Bitcoin is because of the first mover advantage. No, Bitcoin was not the original, it was not the very first crypto token that's on the market, but it is the most impactful and the earliest in the space that actually had an impact. So crypto and Bitcoin has a first mover advantage in the space. So that means that it has had many, many years for the public, for the investing public to get to know this investment. That's often why companies that are first into a space are the leaders, is just simply because they provide a good service and people get to know it early and they get to adopt more and more customers over time. It takes time to get new customers into your ecosystem, no matter what you are doing, no matter if you're Apple or if you are AT&T or if you are Bitcoin or another crypto token. It takes a little while for people to get familiar with your product and your investment. And so being early into the space can really give you an advantage over the competition. There may be better coins. There may be more efficient coins than Bitcoin, but Bitcoin was early into the space and dominated the space and has that advantage of being early and really taking the lead and never letting it go. So, the next reason that Bitcoin is your only crypto investment that you need is the scarcity. Bitcoin is different from regular traditional currency, from the dollar or the euro or the yen, and that it is scarce, that there will only be so many Bitcoins printed, made in the future. 24 million is the cap, and it's very difficult to change that. It would be extremely difficult to increase the supply of Bitcoin. Basically, you would have to have the community come together and have a majority of the community come together and vote to change that, which is just not looking like it would ever happen in my lifetime. So it is the scarce nature of this investment, of this crypto token, is what makes it valuable. Like gold, like silver, like many different commodities. Yes, more can be generated, more gold, more oil can be drilled out of the ground, but more Bitcoin can be mined. But there's only so much that will be created in the history of mankind. So the fact that it is scarce and it becomes harder and harder to mine as more people mine these Bitcoins, that it becomes more valuable. The more Bitcoins that are out there currently become more valuable. And so that scarce nature is really going to benefit this particular coin, especially as the United States and other governments around the world, as they print more and more currency. They print more dollars, they print more euros, they print more yen. That is going to devalue those currencies, which means the things that are scarce, the gold, the Bitcoin, the artwork, things that are one of a kind, that are unique, is going to increase in value because there's only so much of it to go around, and people want to park their money into assets that are going to grow over time, that are going to become more valuable, more in demand. And I believe that Bitcoin will become more in demand in the next 10, 20, 30 years. That there's really no limit to how much the price of a Bitcoin can be. How high can a coin, a Bitcoin, go in the future? It's really untold. It can really go to infinity as time goes by, because I do think that Bitcoin is here to stay. It is going to be here for the next 10 years, the next 20 years, the next 100 years, Bitcoin will be around, just like gold has been around, just like the US dollar. The US dollar will continue to be around, even if we come up with stable coins and all these different forms of currency. The government currency of a dollar, euro, yen will be around and will be valuable. Same with Bitcoin. 100 years from now, I think this technology will still be around and still have value, which will continue to drive the price up. And then finally, probably the most important piece of the whole puzzle with crypto and with Bitcoin is that there are companies like MicroStrategy, aka Strategy, and other large companies, large banks that are putting money into this one particular asset. That's why you only need one investment into the crypto space, and that is Bitcoin, is because all these big banks, all these big institutions like governments, like South American governments and Strategy and JP Morgan, big banks like that, they're all putting money, they're all creating funds that are investing into Bitcoin, which is going to drive demand, is going to drive the price of Bitcoin up over time. Because what's going to happen is that you're going to get pension plans, you're going to get 401k plans. All these banks are going to allocate money from their funds, from their clients, and they're going to put it into Bitcoin. Maybe 1%, maybe 5% is going to be allocated into just Bitcoin, into this one consistent currency. Just like gold, many funds and many banks have allocated a portion of those funds to gold simply because it has proven to be a store of value, because gold has proven that it will increase in value, that the price will rise over time. And I think the same is true with Bitcoin, is that as more and more banks and more companies put money into this investment, that will just prove the thesis that this is a true asset that can grow and that can expand its market cap over time. The other thing I see happening is not just with banks and pension funds allocating more money towards this stock, is that you have more businesses like Strategy or MicroStrategy. They're not the only game in town, which is basically a reserve, basically a bank that is just holding Bitcoin, and they are leveraging their companies, they're leveraging their cash flows on this one particular asset, and they are going to continue to do that. Strategy will continue to issue debt. They'll continue to do all the financial things that they can in order to add more Bitcoin into their coffers. So as more people mine the Bitcoin, Strategy and other businesses like that are going to buy that Bitcoin and just purely keep it on the balance sheet. They're not going to sell it. In fact, they're going to leverage more as they acquire more Bitcoin. That gives them more buying power of more Bitcoin. And so it really kind of compounds on itself over time. So, as the single investor, as the individual investors, if you can buy up as much Bitcoin and just hang on to it, put it in your cold storage or put it on your platform like Robinhood or Webull or Interactive Brokers, you can put it in there and then just save it, and it will grow up to however much you can imagine. Who would have thought that Bitcoin would go to 100,000 when it was at a $10,000 valuation? Nobody thought it could go up to 100,000. And now here we are. And now I think it could go to $1 million. Will it take time? This is not a get rich quick scheme. This will not happen overnight. Just like I mentioned in the beginning, that it takes time for individuals, for especially for banks and big institutions like pension funds and hedge funds, to put money into these types of assets, because number one, they have to go through a vetting process. Number two, the asset has to have a track record of success. They don't want to lose money. Big banks do not want to lose money putting their money into an asset that is brand new, that is unproven, that doesn't have a track record. So as the years go by, as the months and the years go by, and Bitcoin is still here and still performing, that gives social proof to larger institutions that this is a safer and safer asset. And so as time goes by, as more individuals, as the less savvy investors become familiar with Bitcoin, more of their money will flow into this particular asset and will drive the price of coins up. It will drive the demand as the investing public gets more familiar with the asset. I also think that one of the macro trends, there's a couple macro trends that are in favor of Bitcoin. Number one, there is the macro trend that always gets mentioned, I feel like, when I'm watching financial news or watching different videos, is the trend of baby boomers retiring. There are tons and tons of older folks that are reaching retirement age, millions of them. And what is going to happen is that those people will eventually pass on and they will pass their assets on. So either when they go into retirement or when they pass away or when they decide to do their estate, they are going to pass money on to the younger generations. And the younger generations are much more risk averse, or no, they're much more able to take risk in their portfolio and willing to do it because they know that that's the way that they're going to build wealth. I think that YouTube financial media is becoming more mainstream. More and more people are talking about money, and that is trickling into the millennials, Gen Z, the newer, younger generations. And so they are going to invest their parents' money, a portion of their parents' money, from real estate, from traditional stocks like AT&T and T and General Motors. They're going to invest that money into Bitcoin, into crypto, and that will drive the price of Bitcoin up because it will be more in demand there, as well as I feel like the other macro trend is just the investment into the stock market. More and more people are becoming disillusioned with real estate, with how difficult real estate is becoming or has become. Number one, the taxes on real estate continues to go up. Property taxes from state to state to state seem to continue to be driving upward because the value of properties are also going up. The value of property is going up. The maintenance that is required for all these older homes, there's tens of millions of homes in the United States that are now older and getting older every single year that are going to need work. So rather than putting money into real estate, I always think that there will be a real estate investor out there, that someone that is willing to buy, rehab, buy and hold and put money and leverage their real estate to buy more real estate. That will always be a specific type of investor. But more and more people, I think, are going to go into the stock market. The stock market has become so easy. Platforms like Robinhood and Interactive Brokers and Public and Webull, they're all making it so easy to invest into the stock market that more and more people are going to invest into Bitcoin. They're going simply the trend, the growing trend of rising stock market is of rising stock market prices is going to attract more buyers and to attract more investors to put money into the stock market because they do not want to be left behind. I think the younger generations get it, that the stock market is the only real way to build long-term wealth, and they're very aware of lifestyle, they're very aware of retirement. It's actually talked about now when people are in college about retiring and retiring early and all those things, and crypto is one of the ways that they are going to get there. So as just the overall stock market gets bigger, I think that will benefit crypto. People will be wanting a store of value. They'll be wanting something that is separated from the stock market. That is the benefit of crypto being a currency, even though I think it's really just an asset like a stock, but it is separated. It's traded on a different marketplace than just regular traditional stocks. That's going to benefit crypto. Is that a portion of when people are allocating money into their portfolio by percentage, they're going to allocate a certain percentage to crypto and they're going to continue to put money into it. As the stock market increases, they're going to increase the amount that goes into the crypto to keep pace with their allocation. So that is a huge wave of investment that is going to go into this particular asset. And I don't really think you need other coins. You absolutely can buy other coins, Solana, Ethereum, Litecoin. There's there's tons and tons of coins out there that I'm sure will be successful, but it's hard to gauge how they're traded, why it's going up or down in value. It's very clear why Bitcoin is going up or going down in value. And it's all the things that I mentioned. So that is it. That's why I would be investing into Bitcoin. I think that it is an asset that has a bright future ahead, and it's really the only crypto asset that you need in your portfolio. So thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember to make good money choices. Till next time.